A U.S. war crimes trial is underway today for the first time since World War II. It involves the first Guantanamo prisoner to appear before a military tribunal. The defendant, Salim Hamdan, Osama bin Laden's former chauffeur and bodyguard. He's accused of transferring weapons to al-Qaeda on behalf of bin Laden to try to kill U.S. soldiers. If convicted, he could face life in the brig. Hamdan was captured in Afghanistan back in 2001, allegedly after being found with surface-to-air missiles in his car. Joining us now, Cully Stimson, the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for detainees. He is also a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Why, Cully, is this guy's trial the first one to pop up out of all? I mean, why not Khalid Sheikh Mohammed or one of the other big fish?
It's actually a good question. I'm not sure this was the best case to start with. Nevertheless, this is a person who is a terrorist or alleged to be a terrorist. He was a bodyguard and driver for Osama bin Laden and also helped ferry weapons around. And so perhaps it's one of the easier cases to start with to sort of work the kinks out of the system. Yeah,
to say that he was a driver for bin Laden sort of understates the role that he played in al-Qaeda, right? Or at least according to the prosecution.
That's exactly right, John. And remember, these trials, the presumption of innocence attends to all these defendants, so he's presumed innocent as we speak today. Yeah, when you're ferrying missiles back and forth, carrying weapons, and essentially acting as the getaway driver, it does sort of minimize it to say he was just the driver.
Now, the trial is being held. It's a military tribunal, so all of the jury members are military members.
Correct.
A lot of people would look at that and say, look, this guy is accused of trying to help kill U.S. troops, U.S. soldiers or Marines. How can he possibly get a fair trial in front of, a jury that's composed entirely of members of the U.S. Armed Forces?
Military members, in my experience as a military prosecutor and defense lawyer, actually follow the rules the judge gives them. Military commissions throughout history have used officers to adjudge the guilt or innocence of the person. This is what's done throughout the history of the world. He will get a fair shake in front of these members, as they're called.
What do you expect to hear from his defense?
The defense will say, one, he was a lawful prisoner of war and he shouldn't be charged. Two, that if you find that he was an unlawful enemy combatant, that he was simply a bit player and really wasn't in the know on any conspiracy or material support. That'll be the defense.
Curious to me, he was located in part, arrested in part, because of a $5,000 bounty that had been placed on his head. A bunch of Afghan warlords apparently turned him in. If they'll turn in a guy like that for $5,000, why can't we get bin Laden?
That's a great question. I wish we could get bin Laden. I hope he's dead. But regardless of the fact that we paid a bounty for him, bounties have been used throughout history to turn over the enemy, and so this is no different than that before, John.
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch this military tribunal as it gets underway. Charles, Cully Stimson, we appreciate you being with us. Hope we can get you back on again. Thanks.
Anytime.
Want to update you